Hello everyone, this is Zach here. In today's lecture, we're going to talk about how to set up a table properly. So the very academic way of setting up tables is the called NF1 to NF3, which is the way to reduce the redundancy and keep the dependency as clear possible. So I'll put the definition of NF1 down to NF3 in the comment list below. And now let's take a look of the practical way of using that by using a Google Sheet. So now you open your Google Sheet. By the way, the Google Sheet is a very good tool that helps you to access the sheet. Use whatever a device you have and from whatever you are in the world. Actually, it is a cloud service that I highly recommend you to use. So let's say if we want to analysis a series of cars and choose the most economic friendly car out of it, the very best way is to create a table with all those cars and let's compare the cost of that. So to start with, let's set up the name of cars by calling them car name. And we have a car one, and this is a very good way to copy the value of the cell up to the cell down here by using Control D. And this way we call it car 2. So I normally will highlight and bold the car name column as your header and then center it. The way I like to set up the table is to call the natural constant by coloring it to be yellow. All the independent values are called highlighted, which is this way. And car number 3 will be down here too. If we use a Control D key to extend the existing table. So now we have a series of tables right here. And now let's border our tables by keep the very high line to be bored. Now you can set up multiple different cars in here by calling it car 4 and car 5. So the table can go on and on and on. And you can put the comments or description of the cars in here if you'd like, just to keep a note for yourself. And then you put the lines in between. So now let's delete them. And let's say if we have multiple different pricing for it. For the price, by the way, since it is costing you, so I like to color it to be red. And I normally would like to color all the independent variables to be a darker color. So let's select a darker color red. Now let's call it annually depreciation. And now let's import it. So let's say in a year, a car depreciation by a certain amount of value. Let's set up the value to be a dollar value. Let's say car number 1 will depreciate $1,000. And by holding the Control D key, you can copy it down here. Let's, for example, car number 2 to depreciate $1,500. And let's say if car 3 will depreciate $800 per year, let's say $2,000 depreciation for the car 4. Let's just delete the car 5 in here. So if you want to analyze the car from number 1 to number 4 about how much it costs you, there also will be some other fields. For example, the car will cost you in gas cost per year. So let's move it up, line up from here. Let's say car number 1 will cost you on gas for, let's say, $2,000. Now let's also set up the value to be a dollar value in here by clicking the dollar sign here. And let's say car 2 will cost you $2,500 on gas. And car number 3, for example, it will cost you up to $3,500 on gas, and car 4 depreciate the most. But let's say it's a gas saver. It just costs you $750 per year on gas. All right, so here you have listed all the depreciation of a year of a car and the gas cost of a car. So also some other costs, for example, insurance, for example, the maintenance value for it, and they might be your mortgage on the car that you pay monthly. And there will also be some other costs like parking, whatever. But for example, let's just say all of this car 1 to cars 4 will cost you the same of all the other items, so that annually depreciation and the gas cost per year will be your total cost, or will be your cost that doesn't cost you the same. And the overall cost is what we care about. Let's say it's a overall cost. Now take a look, because your overall cost should be the sum value for the first two columns. Therefore, it's a independent value. And because of that, I prefer to color it to be a light color. And then I will also put a currency value to this cell for all of them. And in Google Sheet, let's use a formula by clicking equal sign and do sum, which means the summary of the values you selected. And let's select the first two cells in here and click OK. And there are two different ways of doing that. One is to click OK icon, and therefore you have the overall cost for all of them. And therefore you have the overall cost of your car number 1 to car 4. And they're all different. So to compare them, we can simply select all of them, and then we can sort the data by going to sort. And if I'm sorting by the overall cost from A to Z, which is the minimum to the maximum, and I can click sort. Therefore, I can conclude that the car number 4 is the one that costs you the least of all of these 4 cars in here. And car number 3 is costing the maximum. Okay, so that's a very simple example of how to compare your cost by setting up a table properly, and we can talk more in the next few lectures. And by the way, the key or takeaway from this lecture is that every single row is dependent, which means they don't cross-reference each other, and the data are organized in the same way for every single row. And secondly, if you take a look at the table, it is constructed horizontally, which means it expands downwards if you add one or more or multiple different rows down below. For example, if I select the row number 6 by clicking the number 6 icon in here, which I select the entire row, not just by one cell, then I click Control D, which I add up a row just down below the row number 5, which is the same value, the same everything, the same relation. Now let's start to call it car 5. And for example, if I find out that the car number 5 will depreciate about, let's say, $3,200 per year, and annually it costs me $2,700, then take a look. The overall cost right here is automatically calculated for you. And by sorting them, my data has the header by itself before here. So I check the data has headers row in here, and I sort them by overall cost and click sort. Then I can find out that, oh, the car number 5 cost me $5,900 per year, which is the worst or the most expensive one of all of them. And it is in here. Okay, so one more thing that the table can help you with is to visualize your data, which you select your car name icon by clicking the column A in here and hold the control key and select overall cost. And you can insert a chart in here. Okay, so here the Google Sheet helps you with sorting and showing you how each of the cars cost you by overall cost versus car name, which you can find out that overall cost, let's say overall cost for a year, for a year. Then you can tell that the car 4 costs you the least, and car 5 is the most expensive. So now in this chart editor, I prefer to set up the ones that cost you in red colors, which are red. And I can show the data labels right here of how much it costs me on the annually depreciation and gas cost per year. So overall, the value shows up here that you can tell by each car, it costs you differently. And I can sort by the cost, and also I can sort by the car name. So if, for example, if I want to sort by car name and click sort and see the order of them has changed. And the one of the characters for the Google Sheet and also Excel sheet is that it can only sort by having data's layout horizontally. So the horizontal table is the way we set up the table properly, and you cannot do that vertically. Okay. So thanks for watching. This is Zach here, and we're gonna talk about how to truly select a car that works for you economically in the next lecture. If you like, please hit the like button or subscribe or even donate to me, and I will present you more of the content in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye.